They can hear us. What's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. We have some that are not here today, some that are sick or they're having to do something. But I'm glad you guys are here. Very excited about, we'll talk more about camp in just a minute. I'm very excited about the numbers that have signed up so far. We'll talk more about camp here in just a minute. But I want to go ahead and go through our announcements. Lead, it's not lead and deafen. It's lead defend, but it'll deafen your doubts about faith. I don't know. That's a dumb typo. Oh my gosh. So if you're having a bad day, just remember that there was a day Richard called it lead deafen, and he put it on the screen. So, but it's March 4th. Listen. Important information. March 4th. If you've not signed up, please sign up. You should go to this. Whatever it takes for you to be able to go. Let's talk how it needs to happen. Okay. The cost is $35. It includes your lunch. And we'll leave here about 8 o'clock. We'll leave here about 8:30 at the latest. So we can get there in time. First session, I think, starts at 10. So if we can leave here by 8:30, it gives us time to get to where we're going to go and get settled in. And so it'll be a really good time. It'll be a really good experience. Afterwards, we'll go eat together before we head back home and just kind of debrief and talk about, because how it's going to work is there'll be group sessions, the main sessions to where we'll be together, and then there will be split ups to where you can go with a group of your buddies and go check out a smaller group type session and learn about that. It's a lot of fun. It'll be a good time. Sean McDowell is the featured speaker. A guy by the name of Bobby Conway is also another speaker that's going to be there. Bobby Conway does this YouTube channel called 1 Minute Apologist. You can go look him up on YouTube, Minute Apologist. I know Bobby. I went to school with Bobby at CBC. He actually performed. He didn't perform the wedding. He actually preached at my brother's wedding. And so it's kind of a cool thing. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him and seeing how he's doing. So, but Sean McDowell's a speaker. If you will sign up back there, I will make sure, and then you'll just unless something happens, if you that signed up, $35, write a check to the church, and you'll put it on the Sherry's desk that day. So you will not give it to me. You'll put it on her desk because I don't want it. I don't want to see it. But the deadline to sign up, just simply so I can turn in numbers, so I can get all that stuff taken care of, is the 18th. Now, you might have a question. What if my friend wants to go? Can my friend go? Yes. Well, does my friend have to pay? Yes, they have to pay $35. So they can go. Would love for you to bring your friend so they can learn and grow more in their faith. It's going to be a good time. So we have a theme night coming up in a couple weeks, February 22nd, 80s night. Come dressed up in your 80s, your 80s fashion, your 80s clothes. We'll play an 80s themed game that night. It'll be a lot of fun, and so come dressed up, and you will not want to miss it. And we won't forget, except Jarrett. Jarrett, by the way, we had a Hawaiian night back in January. In the ice, it was one of the many ice storms. Jarrett was the only one that dressed out. Shout out to you, Jarrett. So he got a free meal that night. He got a free meal Sunday night. So that's Sunday night. So, and then hey, it's right screen. This is why you need to quit talking and listen. So, but that's going to be February 22nd. Like I said, we'll play like an 80s game. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So it will not be Dance Dance Revolution. Although if we could see about possibly doing a Dance Dance Revolution, that's not beyond the realm of impossibility. All right, and then Camp Stylome. I'm so excited. I can't do S right. I think I do it backwards all the time, but I think it's like this. So you do the S. If you can do the S, I'll pay. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Is that right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Like this? It's right for y'all. Okay, but if I do this, it's right for me. Silo. Oh, I love that song. It's such a good song. Anyway, how many of you raise your hand if you went last year? Yeah. Raise your hand if you've never been to camp before. All right. This is your year to come with us, okay? Here's the deal. I'm going to show you a video and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about Siloam, okay? So let me show you this video because I think you'll really like it. Here we go. Watch this, please. This last year, please watch it.
You know, it's just extremely incredible to see the spirit move through this camp and God's work still being done through these staff. So big thank you to the staff for all you do.
So that was last year. I can't remember what the terms are for this go around. It is June 26th to the 30th. Yes, Chris. The theme, and I'll show a video of it next. The theme is celebrating. They're celebrating 100 years of doing camp. It's called 1923: A Mystery. It is set in the 1920s. That's kind of the theme. So the headband with the feather sort of thing, like doing the Charleston, that sort of stuff. Like think about like Gangster, think about yes. Yeah. Actually, I have, and then there was a hiccup, so I hadn't gotten the past several issues, but it's now back on track. So I am actually getting it. I'll have to show one of the comics that I got. So but yeah, Joe Maltinato, he was the guy that he was a big Superman fan, found out I was a Superman fan, gave me a year subscription to DC Comics. That's been really cool. But this year the theme is like 1920s, so like what is it called? Ragtime, something like that. Think about like, you know, the gangster movies and stuff like that back in the day. It's really cool. I'll show a video of the theme next week. There'll be a theme night, there'll be a color night or a color day, there'll be a jersey day, and there'll be some other things. But this is what I need from you, because here's the deal. Numbers get really close to filling up. In fact, they usually do fill up. last year I was having them calling me in like, I think it was May. They were calling me in May saying, hey, do you have any extra spots that you're not going to use? And we used all of our spots. So if you're wanting to go to camp, you need to sign up tonight because I need to start turning in those numbers and stuff like that. So cost of camp. Let me talk to you about the cost of camp, and then we'll go from there. The cost of camp, my goal for you guys, it's more expensive. And because costs everywhere. Okay. Everything. Y'all probably know that. You know, your drink at Sonic probably has gone up a little bit. Yes, McDonald's is more expensive now. But anyway, but this is how much. This is how much. Y'all look, listen, listen, and pay attention. This is how much I want y'all have to pay. Malachi. For that to happen, there's got to be a little bit of work involved. There's got to be a little bit of skin in the game. Okay. Things such as working for fundraisers. Okay. Our goal is 1 or 2 fundraisers. One fundraiser is the spaghetti lunch and dessert auction. Last year, we earned enough from the dessert auction to where no one had to pay, and we didn't have to do any other fundraisers. I would like for us to do a second fundraiser. But if we can earn enough in our first fundraiser, that's amazing. That's awesome. The second fundraiser is the possibility that we can do is we can actually go and do tacos for life. And how that works is there's 2 options. One is like for every cheese dip sold, you get like $5 or something like that. And all you have to do is tell them, have people come up and say, we're with Southside Baptist Church, and they'll do that. Another one is similar, but it's a percentage of the sales for those hours. That time. Like I want to say it's like, I think it's 20%, but I could be wrong. So that's another cool little fundraiser we can do. Now, one thing that we're going to do, as we did last year, is we're going to kayak. We're going to kayak again, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Do what? Do what? We try to do. I think there's a couple of people that were able to flip over themselves. But I'm excited. I'm excited that Crystal's going, Christy's going, and y'all pray for Christy that she doesn't get injured. So we need 100%. Will's going to be there. Will's going to be there. So I'm excited. I'll have a guy chaperone that can be like, look, go help Logan find all of his stuff because he's lost everything. So, but we are doing the kayak. It's the Little Illinois River. It's a lot of fun. Listen. And I think there's a couple questions, and I'll take those in just a second. But please listen. If you are about going, if it's like if my mom could come with me, I had these sorts of go to me about. Do whatever it takes for you. Yes. Those of you come back this year. For those of you that I want you to really, really, really consider going, because it is a life-changing moment. If it means on the day that we leave, meet you for you to be able to go, throughout Riley, I don't know, maybe you like, I don't know, but I'm just saying, we'll make a way for you to have Skittles all along. Want to do what it's going to take for you to go. That's how much I believe that church camp mattered. It was that church that dedicated my life. It was that church camp where Crystal came to know the Lord. Church camp matters. I want you to go. Here's the other thing about this. The other cool part about this is usually there's a hiccup with Beta Convention. Not this year. Beta Convention 3 days before church camp. So sign up tonight and talk to your parents about it so they know what you did. Okay? Talk to your parents about it so they know that you signed up. And we'll do whatever we can for you to go. All I'm asking from each of you, when you sign up, you commit. Okay? Chris, did you have a question? Your hand was raised. All right. Well, if you haven't remembered, just talk to me about it afterwards. So we're starting this new series called On the Flip Side. And it's all about how we need to see things as Jesus sees it. How Jesus is completely different than how anyone. This is kind of how God is. Think about, like, in terms of, like, for instance, when Jesus was born, God didn't go to the kings and the rulers, the people of influence, and announce it. He went to who? He went to those that, like, nobody would have thought he'd ever go to, that sort of thing. So that tonight we're going to talk about what does it mean about Jesus and how Jesus did things that were completely different than how we did. But before we do that, we do have something special that's coming up Sunday, right? Now we're gonna have youth discipleship Sunday night. It'll be a little bit short, it'll be a little bit abbreviated. Have a deep your memory verse, Romans 8:28. And I will have a special video from a couple of friends of mine that you got to see last year that I think you will very much enjoy. But I thought we'd play a game in honor or in retrospect. And it'll be real interesting to see how well you guys do with this game, because it's all about the big game. Okay, I think you know what the big game is. I can't say what the big game is because of copyright. It's crazy. You can't say, I can't say that in here because it'll be a copyright violation. But so we're going to play a game called Big Game Trivia. I'm going to test your knowledge, see how much you might know or see how much you don't know. Okay, so are you ready for the big game? I'm going to see how much you know. Like I said, about one of the biggest sporting events on the planet. Good luck, and let's see. But anyway, so I'm gonna divide you guys in half, and I don't remember what the cheer is. I thought about doing this. One of y'all will be the Eagles, and one of y'all will be the Chiefs. Okay. Do y'all want to be the Eagles, and do y'all want to be the Chiefs? Y'all don't care. All right. Y'all be the Eagles, and you guys will answer as a group. You have to stand up and shout out, "Fly, Eagles, fly." Okay. All right. You guys will have to stand up and answer, "Go Chiefs." Okay. All right. So let's try this. All right. You guys will stand up and say, "Fly, Eagles, fly," as loud and as excited as you can. And you guys will just stand up and shout out, "Go Chiefs." Okay. All right. So we'll have the Chiefs versus the Eagles. All right. We'll see how this goes. All right. So let's see how well you can do this. Ready? You guys go first with the Eagles. 1, 2, 3. Y'all never cease to disappoint. Y'all sit down. All right, y'all stand up and say, "Go Chiefs" on 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's not like y'all say "Go cheese."
Go cheese.
I thought they said the chefs, but anyway. All right, so y'all ready? Y'all should get this first question. Have to pay attention to what your team names are. What teams are playing in the big game on Sunday? I heard them resoundingly. What do y'all say? What are y'all saying? What are y'all saying? B. Okay. That is correct. All right. Are you ready? And you can't use Google. You got to use your noggin. Okay. All right. So this will be very interesting. Let's see how it goes. All right. Here we go. Question 2. In what city is the big game being played? What do y'all say? A, Arizona? Bro, you are correct. Good job. Good job. Good job. I think it's because he has Madden and he played it. Or maybe did you hear it? You heard it. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. All right. Here's this next question. Let me read the question. Why was the big game moved to the second Sunday in February? What do you think it is? Do you think it's because A, the NFL added another regular season? Is it B, to remind men that Valentine's Day is just a few days away? C, the players need another week to rest, or is it D, Taylor Swift conference? Obviously. Yes. A? It is A. The NFL added another regular season game. It is now an 18-week season. Yeah. But we all know it was secretly D because of Taylor Swift. Because all the Swifties. Anyway, how many footballs are given to each team for the big game? I didn't know this one. What?
54.
How many footballs are given to each team for the game? You say 54.
One big game.
Yeah, for the big game to each team. You guys say it's 54. Is that right?
Is it right?
If you're wrong.
Wait.
What
do y'all think?
I have not really known.
No.
It might be.
I mean, I do have an answer, so you can either stick with it or you can try to use a different answer if you want.
C.
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 C. All right. 108. Which is half. 54 is half of a. No, you did. No, you did not. Because I already have. What's up, bro? What are those? Those are my boots. Look, he had to swim to get here. Oh my gosh. So much rain. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Dude, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. All right. Let me go on. So, all right. So the score is what? 3-0. Eagles are up by, I love that. My bad though. For saying that. All right, for the first time in big game history, two brothers will play against each other. All right, you guys. You guys say C? Are you sure? Mike and Sully. It is Travis and Chelsea. Very good. Yep. All right, this is interesting. I'm curious to see who could figure this out. Name 4 NFL teams.
One of the
Okay, if you want to try.
I don't watch NFL.
That's true.
I've never seen the red.
That is inaccurate. No, I'll give you all a chance. I'm going to give you all a chance in this. I mean, you've got.
Not that good.
All right. You've got like, think about teams. The Chargers, they're not good. They were pretty good this year, but they did go to the Super Bowl. I'll give y'all another chance to answer. I'll give y'all another chance to answer. The Dolphins. The Dolphins went in 1980.
That's my guess. Are we guessing?
No, Broncos been a couple times. All right, coming back to you guys over here. No using Google.
Google.
He's on Discord.
No using Discord.
No.
Creed, you gonna answer? The Bills have been 4 times and they've won 0 Super Bowls. So you were close. You could have said the Lions, the Browns, the Texans, and the Jaguars. But you said the Dolphins. Oh, I didn't hear you say it. I'm sorry. Good job. Hey, good job, Allison. Respect, but I didn't hear it. Good job. All right. What about this question? Who is singing the national anthem at this year's big game? I'm over here. What do y'all say? Chris is like, why'd you do that? Y'all say D. I'll give y'all a chance to answer. A. Nope. Rihanna's doing the halftime show. It's not A or D, so it's B or C. Brayden? Because it is. C. Yeah. But Respect is doing, and because she's dropping a new album. But here's this question. What company was announced as the new sponsor of the halftime show, replacing Pepsi? Yes. It is Apple. All right. How many wings will be devoured during the big game? Go ahead. 1.4 billion? Correct. 1.4 billion. All right. What's the score now? 5-2. All right. How much is a 30-second ad for this year's big game? All right.
7.
4. I don't know. What do you say, B? Did you say B?
I said B.
You're correct. It's B. It's 5-3. Mahomes is catching up to Hurts. We'll have to see what's going to happen. All right. What about this question? How many series is the big game televised in? All right. Nope, it is not 90. What do you think? What do you think? I'll say 170 countries. Emma, that's correct. They get the points. All right. What is the name of the trophy given to the winning team? The Lombardi Trophy is correct. Very good. It's named after the legendary coach Vince Lombardi, who's one of the most successful coaches in NFL history. He was the Green Bay Packers coach. How much does a trophy weigh? Is it 4 pounds, 7 pounds, 14 pounds, 21 pounds? Yes. What do y'all say?
C.
Oh.
Okay.
What do y'all say?
You should answer.
B.
You're saying.
Correct. It is B. 7 pounds. How much does the trophy cost?
Yeah.
All right.
$100,000.
Incorrect.
Go, and go, Steve.
No.
Hey.
A? Correct. What's the score? What's 8-4? All right. Final round. This worth 4 points. So you can either tie it up or you guys can win. Here it is. The Super Bowl is the second highest eating day for Americans. What is the highest? Yeah, y'all both need to sit down. Go back there. My judge is saying sit down because y'all did not wait for me to finish answering the question, reading the question. So now I've got to read the question and say the choice. The Super Bowl is the second highest eating day for Americans. What is the highest? Is it? I'm not done reading. Is it A, New Year's Eve? Is it B, Christmas? Is it C, Thanksgiving? Or is it D, Groundhog Day? A. Judges,
Come on.
I'm gonna have to go here because not everybody is standing up. So I'm gonna go here. What do y'all say? Y'all say Thanksgiving? The answer is Thanksgiving. Guys, tie it up. Tie it up. Y'all could've won for the G. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's okay. It's okay. That's right. It's a tie. Everybody wins. So you all get the participation trophies. But you guys secretly won because I'm going to give you 5 points. No, I'm just kidding. This is what you get. Respect if you did win, but you didn't win. You tied. All right. So that was the big game. That was a lot of fun. That y'all surprised because y'all are not really. Sit down, Malachi. Sit down. Y'all are not really like, football is not one of our big things, right? We got track, we got basketball, baseball, that sort of thing. And so y'all did really good. I was very proud of y'all. All right. We're gonna sing. I'll stand up. Let's have a time of worship. We're gonna sing Phil Wickham, Great Things, and then we're gonna sing It Just Eluded Me. Corey Asbury. Anyway. Songs tonight are about what God does, what Jesus does. And so as we worship, I want to encourage you guys to let that be your guiding moment. Let that be your thought process. If you don't want to worship, if this is something that is not comfortable for you, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to sing. Nobody's gonna kick you out if you don't sing. I'm gonna ask you to do this. Be respectful of the person next to you. Don't think because you're talking to them that really means that they want to talk to you. It may just mean that they're being kind and pleasant to you. Give them the opportunity to worship. And you never know. It might cause you to worship more. The point of this is it's not about you, it's about God. When we worship, it's all about him. It's about what he does, what he's done for us. So let that be your guiding thought process as we sing these songs. Come, let us worship our King. Come, let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. See what our Savior has done. See how his love overcomes. He has done great things. God, he has done great things. Oh, healer of heaven, you conquer the grave. You free every captive and break every chain, oh God. You have done great things. Dance in your freedom, awaken alive. Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high, oh God. You have done great things. You've been faithful through every storm, been faithful through every storm. You'll be forevermore, for forevermore. You have done great things. And I know you do it again. For your promises, yes and amen. You will do great things. God, you do great things. So, hero of heaven, you conquer the grave. You free every captive, break every chain, oh God. You have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awake and alive. Oh, Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high, oh God. You have done great things. Hallelujah, God above it all. Hallelujah, God unshakable. Hallelujah, you have done great things. And again. Hallelujah, God above it all. Hallelujah, God unshakable. Hallelujah, you have done great things, have done great things. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquer the grave. You free every captive and break every chain, oh God. You have done great things. Dance your freedom, awaken alive. Oh, Jesus, for your name lifted high, oh God. You have done great things. You have done great things. Oh God, you do great things. Next song we're going to sing is Christ Be Magnified. And it's in the same vein of how God has done these amazing things and how God through Christ did what he did on the cross, how God through Christ we have the ability of having a relationship with God. The song that we're about to sing is all about why Christ is to be magnified. Because he flips the tables, he does things that are so different because the desire for us to have with God. For creation suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues lift one cry. Then from north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Let's be a moment of worship for you. Suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues lift one cry. Then from north to south and east to west, we'd hear Christ be magnified. Were the whole earth echoing his eminence. Were the whole earth echoing his eminence. His name would burst from sea and sky, from rivers to the mountain tops. We'd hear Christ be magnified. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Oh, Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. When every creature finds its inmost melody and every human heart its native cry. Every creature finds its inmost melody. Every human heart its native cry. Oh, then in one enraptured hymn of praise, we'll sing Christ be magnified. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified. Center of my life. Christ be magnified in me. I'll stand strong and worship you. I'll rejoice because you're there too. From my feelings, I'll hold fast to what's true. If the cross brings transformation, I won't be about to idols. I'll stand strong and worship you. If it puts me in the fire, I'll rejoice because you're there. I won't be formed by hold fast to what is true. If the cross brings transformation, I'll be crucified. Because death is just the doorway into resurrection life. And if I join you in your suffering, then I'll join you in yours. And when you return in glory with all the angels and the saints, my heart will still be singing. My song will be the same. Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified. Oh, Christ be magnified. Let his praise arise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified from the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me. Father, we talk about the flip side, how we're to be a reflection of you and how you flip assumptions of things, Father, how you change the tables, you flip them over, Father, and you you challenge us to live differently. Father, I pray that tonight as we spend time in your word, Father, first off, thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you for the songs and for the games. Thank you for the food. Father, I pray that you be with us now as we spend time digging into your word. And we're doing this series called On the Flip Side, and I apologize that you can't really see it so well on this projector, but it's all about spending a few weeks, we're going to be doing that, spending a few weeks, getting some of our ideas about God, ourselves, and the world just kind of flipped upside down, kind of flipped on their heads, if you will. So to prepare for this, I thought I would challenge, okay? How many flips? I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer for this. How many flips can you do with a water bottle? Okay. Let's see if I can do them. Nope. Let me try again. Still no. Going way too high. All right, I'm gonna try one more time. We'll try one more time.
No, it's actually.
Oh, so close. All right. This will be my last one. I'm in the zone now. Oh.
Your last one.
Oh.
It's a half point.
Okay, I'm done. Look at that. Look at that. On the first try. Y'all saw that. Y'all saw that. It was on the first. All right. So I need a volunteer. I need 2 volunteers. A little bonus game. All right. Malachi, you're bragging with your face. And Jarrett. Come here, Jarrett. All right. I'm going to give y'all 5 chances. I'm going to give y'all 5 chances.
No. Oh.
All right. I'm going to give y'all 5 chances and we'll see how many right here. Right. We're going to see how many of those 5. Okay. All right. And the winner, I'll give you a prize. All right. So here we go. All right. Well, that was terrible. All right, let's 1. I'll give you 5. Yeah. Take. Hey, no interfering, Malachi. That's 4. You're too far away. I'm a little close. We're like right here. Come on. All right. Hit your butt. All right, 5. All right, come on, Braden. Come on, Braden. All right. No, you can drink it. I'm not drinking it. All right, that's 1 chance. Nope, doesn't count. Nope. I didn't drink any of it. I'm definitely not drinking any of it now. Oh, good job. Good job. All right. Can you have me? So, all right. That was 4. So, can you do another one? All right. All right. One more. Come on, Logan. Come here, Logan. Riley, you want to do it? All right, Logan. Number to beat is 1. So, if you get 2, you get to us. If not, it's going to be Braden. Closer to the back. There's 1. So, 4th. 5th. All right. We're tied up. All right. Ready? All right. Do what?
Ben's going next.
Yep. 2 is the number to beat. 2 is the number to beat. Yeah. Oh, so close. All right, 1. So close. You're getting 1. Oh. Oh, well, we're done with the game, but Ben can do it later if he wants. What's up, Emery? Hey, Emery's girl, go to Locos. That meal to me. It's not a gift card, so you can't take that and you have to pay it to me and I buy your meal. So good job, good job. There we go. I'm not flipping that one because that costs money. So I will drink. No, I'm not drinking that one. Here, Braden. Here you go, bud. Enjoy. I do need to drink this. Yes, this is a Circle water bottle. Yes. It was not because of TikTok. It was not a TikTok buy. I know I'm not sponsored. But anyway, so good job flipping those bottles. They're not easy though, right? It's not as easy as what you think it is, right? Like, and I had you do just like, a gallon jug or a half gallon jug or something like that. I could have had you do that, but I didn't. But for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about flipping a lot of things, like flipping them upside down, just kind of changing the mindset, not just like about water. We're not talking about water bottles or anything like that, but something more. Now, this phrase, the flip side, I talked with you guys about it on Sunday, if you were here, but before we go any further, had you ever been really confident about something that you thought was true, but then had your whole world flipped upside down? Like when you found out you were wrong, like maybe you discovered a rumor you had been spreading was completely made up, or something that you just thought was true that you'd been telling others about, come to find out wasn't true at all. Maybe you learned something that disproved what you used to think was true. Okay, like anybody believe in Santa Claus? Spoiler alert. Anyway, realize someone you thought you couldn't stand was actually pretty great. Let me ask you this. I want you to give me some answers, give me some feedback on this. Has new information ever flipped your perspective upside down? Okay. Like learning something new about something that you thought was one way and then come to find out it's completely different. When you have those moments, how do you feel in those moments? Like, how do you feel like when you realize, oh my gosh, that's not true. It's actually about this. How do you feel about that? Like, what are you happy or maybe sad or shocked, surprised, confused? Kind of feel dumb? Okay. Have you ever thought something was super complicated and then you find out it wasn't complicated? You might feel dumb, but do you also feel relieved that it's not as complicated as what you thought it was? Yeah. Yeah. I've had my perspective with my mind. My mind's been blown several times in my life. And that's the thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong when we have this set of ideas and we realize, oh my gosh, it's actually something more. It's actually different, or it's actually really about this. And that's okay. Like, for instance, in our faith, the more we grow in our faith, at least I know for me, the more that I grow in my faith, the more I realize how different Jesus is than what I thought he was, And there's nothing really wrong with that when we realize that there's something even more, that there's something new about what we've always thought. Let me ask you, and I think I asked you this Sunday, what is your most valued possession? Those of you that weren't here Sunday, I want to ask that. I want you to answer that. What is your most valued possession? Well, your deck. It's creating playing cards. Okay, why is that valuable? A limited edition. Okay, all right. You want it in a giveaway? Yeah. Somebody else, something that is very valuable to you, right? Your origin foreign Dialga. So wondering if somebody's going to mention a Pokemon card. Yeah. Hey, hello, you know me. So, Braden, what Your Pokemon binder is is it because it's got a lot of Pokemon cards in there? Wow. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Maybe for you, Logan. Everybody's going to show their Pokemon cards. You're showing ignorance. All right. Anybody have like a stuffed animal that's really valuable to you? Maybe a rabbit named Bun Bun, or what is yours? Yours is a goat, right? A sheep. My bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. A sheep. Creed.
It's like white and blue.
White and blue. Okay. All right. For me, now I'm going to say this to you guys, and I don't say this to everybody, but for me, one of my most favorite possessions, kid. In fact, it's at my parents' house. Is a little stuffed dog called back puppies. Have things. Crystal has one. I had one. It's the house, but I had this brown and black pound puppy, and he wasn't a real dog. I named him Brownie. Our dog. So because it's brown, and Brownie was brown. He was a German Shepherd and Beagle mix, and I'm gonna punch you in the throat. But that was so special to me as a kid. For a while, I had a stuffed animal named Radar, and so I held Radar very close to me. And I'm not just talking because of the ring, because of what's on the ring. It's the Superman ring. Late Christmas, because I had a wedding ring. I had one of those silicone wedding rings, and it broke on me. It snapped, and so Crystal, as kind of a Christmas present, she got me a Superman higher quality grade. This is a Groove Life. Y'all ever heard of these rings? They're like really good and indestructible. And but for me, what's so valuable, the school is what it is. Don't judge me, Allison. But it's the fact that whatever Crystal's love for me, and that's, you say cringe. Wow. Do I? No. Strong around green rocks. Stop it. Stop making fun of me. So anyway, I don't make fun of you. But of course, like I have cards that are valuable to me, like baseball cards. I have certain comic books, like I have in 1996, Superman was killed by Doomsday. It was a big comic story. I have a copy of, I have an original that when they came out with the actual comic where Superman dies, they put it in a black plastic wrap with a big Superman symbol that is bleeding, and I have that, and so that's kind of a valuable thing for me. I think Jacob said that he had. Sorry, girl. Jacob said that he had a Mickey Mantle card that was very valuable to him. It was sentimentally valuable to him, and that's okay. There are things that are valuable to us from a monetary standpoint. There are things that are valuable to us. Like one of the things that's valuable to me doesn't have a whole lot of money value to it at all, but coffee cups. Coffee cups that have been given to me. Those are, because when I look at the coffee cup, or when I drink from the coffee cup, I think about that person and when they gave it to me, and that means, like I have, like for instance, Chris and Will and their family gave me a Grogu coffee mug that's like a nice coffee mug, and you can fill it up with lots of coffee. And I think about them all the time every time I drink from it. I have a little Superman to go cup that's a blue little cup with a red top on it. And it reminds me of when I went into ministry, more from moving as a volunteer and going into ministry as a pastor, as a youth pastor. There was a family that was at the church where we were, and they gave that to me as a thank you for everything I did. And every time I drink from that coffee cup, I think of them. I think of their family. I think of all the things that they've done for my family. And so for me, those sorts of things are valuable. You might have something like that. You might have a shirt, or you might have a pair of shoes, or, you know, maybe it's a particular piece of jewelry or something like that. That kind of that has value to you. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of thing at all. Let me ask you this. Who are some of the people that you value the most? Friends? Emma laughed at you when I said that. I don't know what that means. Family, do you have family that you value? Maybe a teacher that you value? Maybe a special friend that you value? Like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But anyway, that's got awkward in it because all of a sudden people like Emma laughed at Allie and that sort of thing. But you know, there are people that we value that matter to us, that mean something to us. I want to show you something. I want to show you this video. And there's no sound to this video or anything, and it's just going to play while you can leave the lights on. It's going to play while I talk. Anybody know what that is? Yeah, a record player. How many of you have a record player? Let me ask you that. How many of you have a record player? You have a record? Have a record player? Your brother does. Braden, do you have a record player? You do? Okay. All right. Ben, do you have a record player? It's something that for years went away. Nobody had records or anything like that. And then, like, in the late 90s, they started kind of coming back. And people started looking at getting vinyl records. And now they're back. And some people will argue and say that they play better. But vinyl records, they're kind of part of this era where none of us really lived anymore. This was the way that you listen to music. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, this was the way that you listen to music. This is how you listen to music. You didn't listen to it on your phone. You didn't listen to it on a little device or anything like that. It was on a record player. You had to have this. You had to have a record player, and you had to take good care of it because the slightest thing could damage the record, could damage the needle that plays the record, and so you had to take care of it. These are really cool things. I've often thought about getting a record player and just getting a couple of like records just to see just to have that feeling of nostalgia. But then I would be quickly reminded, no. But people collect records, they play records, they decorate with records, as you see in this room. In fact, Sunday we did an activity that included these little records that y'all are to do something with, and I hope that you're working on that and that's going well. Some people just love that scratchy kind of earthy sound that comes when you get from playing a record. But maybe the biggest difference between vinyl records like this and your Spotify playlist is when you're halfway through with the record, you have to flip it. And when you're halfway through on an album, on a record, you have to flip it over to hear the rest of the story, to hear the rest of the music. You could decide to only play one side of the album, and that's fine. It would work, but you'd be missing out on half the music. And so to get the full enjoyment of the record, you have to flip to the other side. You got to flip it, meaning in learning from Jesus is kind of a little bit like this vinyl record that you see on the screen. There'll be times where we think that our understanding or our beliefs, our perspectives are the whole picture, and then we realize there's more to it on The other side, on the flip side, if you will. We'll feel pretty confident in our judgments about God, about ourselves or others, but when Jesus shows up, he tends to flip everything upside down and show us there's a whole new perspective that we've never considered before. With Jesus, we finally get the whole picture, and through him, our wrong assumptions get flipped upside down and finally made right. Whether it's money or popularity, looks, ability, or knowledge or skill, there are things that Jesus will flip our perspective of. Let's look at this a little bit. Let's look at what Scripture has to say. Open up your Bibles to the book of Matthew. And this is a part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. This is kind of the early parts of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. In fact, this is where it really kind of starts. And this is what it says in Matthew chapter 5, beginning in verse 1. It says, when he saw the crowd, he went up on the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he began to teach them, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom. For the kingdom of the heavens is theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. You are blessed when they insult you and persecute you and say every kind of evil against you because of me. Be glad and rejoice, because your reward is great in heaven, for that is how they persecuted the prophets who were before you. When Jesus was here on earth, he spent a lot of time correcting people's incorrect beliefs about God, about themselves, about each other. And at the time, a lot of people were under the assumption that God favored people who followed every religious rule, who seemed really holy and had it all together. But in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount that we just read, we see things that are flipped upside down. He wasn't exactly known for telling people what they wanted to hear. He lived people's ideas about God, about the world and themselves completely. He flipped them, not lipped, that was weird. He flipped them upside down. And it's always usually in very uncomfortable ways. Jesus has this way of taking your assumption about God and changing it, and you realizing, wow. This time, Jesus has flipped assumptions about what mattered most to God. And some people that Jesus was speaking to believed God valued people who were the most religious, who acted and talked and sounded the most religious. But Jesus said having things like power, like status, like fame, they don't get you any bonus points. It doesn't get you any special treatment with God. According to Jesus, the people who are the most blessed in God's kingdom are people who've known poverty, grieving, people who are gentle and kind, people who are suffering. It's the direct opposite of what we think, isn't it? When we think that when somebody is blessed, that means that everything's going great for them, living the high life, that everything's working out. Hashtag blessed, right? It's kind of what we think a lot of times. This idea of those who are mourning are blessed, those who are grieving are blessed, those who are gentle and kind, those who are poor, they're blessed. But here's the thing with that. God values the people. The world often doesn't. Kind of wonder how like the people that were there in the crowd would have heard what Jesus was saying. Like for the people who were listening, who had been overlooked and undervalued, this was probably like really good news, right? He's talking about me. He's talking about, yeah. They likely have been told and believed that they were less deserving of love, of care, and attention than others were. But now Jesus was flipping their view of themselves upside down. According to Jesus, they are loved, they're cared for, they're seen, they're deeply valued by God. How important is it to be seen? How important is it to be loved? How important is it for you, for us? What does it mean for us to be valued? And here Jesus is saying they are valued by God. But for the people who are listening, who are religious leaders, who are the powerful, the influential, the wealthy, these words might have seemed like kind of bad news. I mean, after all, if you've always been yourself, right, and as better, and you've always seen yourself, if you've always seen yourself as better and as more valuable than others, you don't want to be told that you've been doing it wrong or that you had it wrong. Jesus' message was for everyone. It was for everyone who showed up in that crowd that day, and for everyone who would hear the story later, like you and me. To all of us, Jesus makes this clear, sees and values people who are often overlooked. There's this passage in the Old Testament. It's one of my favorite passages in the Old Testament. It's about another time that people got this wrong. Many years before Jesus was born, people tried to make themselves seem more valuable to God by doing a lot of like religious things, looking good on the outside, but really it's not about it. Really the opposite on the inside. They followed God's laws. They sang worship songs. They made offerings to God, but they sort of lost track of the thing that mattered the most. For them, it was on the outside, but the internal, the real, that's the thing that God matters more than just what's on the outside. But they were so focused on trying to earn God's love that they forgot to love the people that God values. In response, God sends the prophet Micah, and this is what he says in Micah 6:8. He says this, mankind, he has told each of you what is good and what it is the Lord requires of you, to act justly, to love faithfulness, and to walk humbly with your God. It was a strong criticism of anyone who was neglected, who was mistreated, or took advantage of, and those who took advantage of others in God's name when people weren't valuing others well. God used Micah to show a new way, and God invited them to pursue justice for those who have been mistreated, to be merciful to others rather than judgmental, to humbly follow God's lead. Does it sound like the Sermon on the Mount? To care for others, to value people the way that God values people. God values people the world often overlooks or mistreats. When you think that you don't matter or deserve to be overlooked or mistreated, Jesus flips that idea upside down. When you think that you're better or more worthy of God's love than someone else, Jesus flips that upside down. Right when we think we have it, when we have it all figured out, Jesus flips our assumptions about who God values. I got something I want to show you. What is this? Huh? It's a trophy, right? On this side, it says you're the best. You might see these in some games. But when you give somebody a trophy, what are you doing? Why do you give them a trophy? because you're congratulating them. They earned it. Like, okay, for instance, in sports, you have an MVP and you give them an MVP award. What does MVP stand for? What does that mean? They're the best team player, right? Then they're usually given to somebody that does something amazing, something that's awesome. Sometimes it's not a trophy. Sometimes it's a game ball, like a baseball or a softball or a basketball or a football. It might be something related to your word about. It might just be a certificate that said, "Hey, you got stung." I don't know, but like your Greenbrier, gives awards to students that just kind of do the extra effort. Southside does the same thing, and these are usually given to people that go above and beyond to do something extraordinary well. You got to earn them, right? You've got to earn them. Am I right? Yeah. Like when you make all A's and B's, that you get awarded for that. You get honored for that, right? Like equipment, I think you get chicken strips, right? That are really good. And those chicken strips are really good. Okay. Huh?
I just get a piece of paper that.
You get a piece of paper that says you did good, but at the end of the year, you have academic awards, right? In my household, if you make A's and B's, you get a little money for it, right? That's what we do in my house. Your house, you might get something else. You might get I don't know. But moving on. Everybody's like, whoa, I'm going to go to Richard's house. No, you're not going to my house. But everybody knows where we live. But Jesus, however, he showed us a new way of viewing value. Jesus shows us that you don't have to do a thing to earn your value. That you're already valued. Simply because you're deeply loved by God. The one who made you, created you. The one who, as we read about not that long ago in Psalm 139, formed you. The one who, in Ephesians 2:10, that JD shared with us Friday night, that created you. You're valued. You matter. Nothing you can do can earn you any extra value in God's eyes. And here's what's really amazing. This is just really awesome. Nothing you do can take away any of your value either. I'm not talking about when we deal with the consequences of it. Simple fact is that despite sin, God loves us so much. For God, seeing that he gave the only begotten Son, so that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's love. That is God who says, I value you no matter what. Because we're all deeply loved by God, we can stop competing to see who's the most valuable. And we can choose to value each other like God values. And the Sermon on the Mount, it's kind of like Jesus was giving away the most valuable people awards in a sense, but to the most unlikely people, right? To those that society has no value over. Jesus says, these are the ones I value. And Jesus was preaching that same sermon here today. Kind of wonder who to give a trophy to. Mention the person who avoids the lunchroom because they aren't sure who they'd sit with, or has endured years of bullying, trauma, or abuse, but still keeps going. Or doesn't look or sound or dress or seem to fit in with the people around them, or is quietly dealing with the physical or mental health concerns. Lost someone that they love. Isn't sure where their next meal is or a safe place to live is going to be. Is anxious about what their family is going through. Who often gets overlooked or taken advantage of. Trying to figure out who they are or where they fit in. Or has rarely ever felt loved or valued. Maybe that's you. Tonight, Jesus here is saying, I value you. I love you. Maybe that means for you that tonight's the night you start a relationship with Christ. You start a journey with Christ. One who loves you, cares about you, who values you above everything. And if that's you tonight, don't walk out the door without talking to Crystal or I about it. Let's talk about what it means to follow after Jesus. But maybe for you, it means for you that there are people that you know at school that are not valued by anyone. Once you figure out who Jesus might give an MVP to, how could you, or how can you, value that person too? Could you reach out and start a new friendship with them? Help defend them? Ask how they're doing? Ask how you can support them, or just simply sit with them? You are that person who has often felt like you aren't valued, like I said. I hope you find value in Jesus, how much Jesus values you. We all struggle to believe we're loved and valued sometimes. And if that's you, my hope is that you know him tonight, that you get to know Jesus tonight. This is upside down kingdom. It's not the perfect, it's not the popular, it's not the richest, it's not the most frequent church attenders who are most valued by God. Not that there's anything wrong with being a valuable church, with being a frequent church attender. Somebody we all know, you for me, how much it matters for us to be together. But that's not what makes or breaks us. Listen, Jesus' upside down kingdom, it's not the most perfect. It's not those things. Those aren't who are most valued by God. It's that we are all valued by him. And to make that point, he's put special attention on the people who are usually the most. Before, if you were feeling less than valuable today, I hope you remember that Jesus loves you deeply. Been trying to prove value to God or others, I hope you'll trust that you have nothing to prove. If you've been overlooking or even hurting someone Jesus values, I hope that you'll make it right this week by choosing justice, by choosing mercy, and by choosing humility instead. And I hope that you took what we did Sunday night with the little record players, that you are making that work. And if you left yours here, somebody left theirs here. If you need it, I've got it. I don't know whose it was, but I've got it. But I hope that you're following through with that. I hope that's working out for you. You see, the big takeaway tonight is that Jesus flipped our assumption about who God values. What will you do this week to people that God values? Because remember, Jesus flipped our assumptions about who God values. This is how you can do this week. This is how you can show people that they're valued, by loving them the way that you. I want to encourage you to follow through with that this week. I want to challenge you to follow through this. Who is that one person? It doesn't have to be something complicated or complex or anything like that. Be a simple thing as sitting down with them in getting to know them. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to say. Well, start off by saying, what do you like to do for fun? What type of music do you listen to? What's your favorite movie? And then go from there. It's a simple thing, but it has such a powerful. People in your school will lower the undervalued. You are there with God who values them above anything else. God above everything else. Remember, Jesus flipped our assumptions about who God values. Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for your word and your truth. I pray that that person at school that feels undervalued, that person in that school that we know that like nobody really cares about, that we know that nobody really pays attention to, that we know that nobody really likes, Father, I pray that this week you give us opportunities to show how much you value us. Father, be with us this week. Be with us as we go through school, as we go and play games, as we do